Okay. All right. So today we're gathered here with Mr. Saleshando. Good day, sir.
Hi, and good evening.
Yes, good evening. It's been a long day, actually. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I haven't been well quite lately. I'm still doing limited hours of work per day.
Yes.
But I'm in good spirits.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So my name's Rory Sang, and I'm with Dr. Saleshando, or Mr. Saleshando.
Mr. Saleshando.
Yes.
Yes.
Doctor, because of the kind of how well read you are.
Thanks for the honor
Yes.
I received.
Indeed.
Yes.
Now, not to go so far, what I wanted us to explore before we get into the real business of today is that one of the things that people do is misunderstand you. And I think there's a certain aspect of you that we don't tend to see when it comes to humility. Do you think you're a person, or why is it that sometimes it seems as if you're jabbing at people?
I guess I'm a little bit of everything.
Yes.
Which makes me a complete human being. Because growing up, a lot of my teachers from way back in primary school who meet me today are like, whoo, what happened to you? We never thought you can speak out.
Yes.
But, I think one thing about me is that I am a very passionate person, very convicted. When I go into something, I don't do a half attempt.
Yes.
I really want to have the maximum possible impact. And I do get worked up by any sense of people being disingenuous, dishonest, lazy. But I'm not an aggressive person. In fact, I suspect my children would laugh their lungs out if they were to hear someone saying I'm a bit on the aggressive. I have my very soft and even weak side, I can say.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I think your strongest suit also is probably vulnerability. Now, not to go too far without going any further, I want us to dive into the real conversation of today.
Yes.
Because I want also us to explore the space with the listeners.
Yes.
And be able to interact with them. It's very important that we give them this chance. And so the first thing is, there was a certain bill that I recall being passed on the Parliament, and it somewhat is contentious, and so I want you to actually highlight to the people what that bill is.
Okay.
But before we go to the bill, actually, I would like for you to explain. Actually, instead of that, I think let's continue with the bill, and then I want you to show the people why it is that this particular bill, you don't want it to pass.
Okay.
Yes.
This bill, it's about amending a clause in the Constitution. Okay. And it was tabled on the floor of Parliament. It hasn't been debated as yet. Now, our laws are such that if you want to amend any part of the Constitution, you take that proposal, we call it a bill is a proposal. It's a proposal that could become a law.
Yes.
You take it to the House, so that the House also get to discuss it. When the House are done with it, then we will have our turn as parliamentarians to debate it. Say why we want it and why we don't want it.
Okay.
And yes, I've already stated that when it comes back to Parliament for full debate,
Wonderful.
Yes.
Now, you speak of the Constitution.
Yes.
What is this thing? People, every single place you go, there's Constitution this. If it is the society, Constitution this.
Yes.
What is this Constitution? And why should the Botswana even care about a Constitution? You know?
In the case of a country, we used to have an Attorney General. Attorney General, the first female Attorney General, Abidiwa Atalia Molokome. She's still around. Kasitwana ne mitsa Mamela Omogolo. Ke ne ke rata ka ha na kila tlhalosa ka teng a re rare e re ntswa le mitsa Mamela Omogolo. Mamela Omogolo o motona ke molao motheo, Constitution. I like the Setswana part, molao motheo. I get a motheo foundation.
Yes.
So it's the very foundation. Ke motheo wa melao yotlhe mo Botswana. Ke one manilao. ke yone wa gang goromente o re bolelelang gore goromente wa rona e tla nna wa mohuta mang ke yone o re bolelelang gore ditshwanelo tsa rona e tla nna eng ke yone o re bolelelang gore re tla sireletswa yang kgathanong le ba ba ka lekang go kgoreletsa ditshwanelo tsa rona. So it gives me my rights, but it also tells me where I have to stop in order to respect your space where you enjoy your rights. So it's a very, very, very important piece of legislation. All other laws, melao yotlhe mengwe e re dirang ko parlamenteng e ikaegile ka molao motheo. And ha re lebelela molao gore a mme o siame simolola pele ka gore a o tsamayana le molao motheo. That's why the constitution is very, very important. Ha o ka o itlhokomolosa ka moso wa boitlhela ke go gatile di-cons. Ha o ba itsheka o sa itse molao motheo gongwe molao motheo ga go sireletsa ka moso go gatiwa ke puso di-cons puso e go gatayang di-cons gongwe puso e tsaya tshwetso ya gore e go tseela setsha sa gago mme ebile ga e go busetse sepe ke yone o ka go sireletsa. So it's very, very important go botlhokwa gore batswana ba itse molao motheo wa bone.
Yes. And like you're saying, it's about protecting the citizens. Yes, and I like that. Now, because we're looking at the economy now. Let's look at the economy and where it's at. Why is it a priority? Why do you feel that? Do you feel this is a priority? The whole changing of the constitution. Why should we even be bringing this? On the ground.
It's a priority. And ke tsa gore le hatsara dumalana ne re dumalana le ya ditlhopho tse di hitileng batswana ba ne ba supile kgatlhego e ntsi party e busanya UDC e sologetse batswana gore e tla dira review ya constitution. The main opposition e leng Botswana Congress Party e sologetse batswana gore e tla lebella molao motheo sešwa. So ga re tswa mo ditlhophong what the ruling party and the main opposition party said, where there is convergence, those are areas of priority. But you know, go botlhokwa gape ka gore molao motheo ka motsana gore ka 1966 bontsi jwa batswana ba ba leng teng gompieno we are youthful population ne re sa tsholo ka 1966 ne re sa rerisiwa ka 1966 e ne e le molao motheo e le gore mamosadinyana our former colonizer the queen what are hile gore nyane here's a template that you can adopt and we adopted it.
Yes.
Now it's about time re ithutile di dintsi re na le tsere ka di eletsang Botswana Congress Party mo dio tse salane bua ka tsone ke gore di tshwanelo tse di mo molao motheo ga di a lekana ke ka sekgwa mo go teng your first generation rights ke di tshwanelo tse leng gore di kganela puso go gontsha ka tshwanelo ya go bua o phuthologile tshwanelo ya go obama o phuthologile. Those are the rights. Tshwanelo ya go ithapela goromente o mata but rona re le BCP re dumela tshwanetse go nne le your second generation rights ke di ke tsa malana le tseo tsa tshwanetse go itsholela your right to work o na le tshwanelo ya go bereka le tshwanelo ya go amogela madi a go hanseriti cultural o na le tshwanelo ya gore ga o le ngwana mo kaleka o lete le go bua ka sekaleka sa go ga lona moyei le se bue mongwe le mongwe a kgone go bua leleme la bone. So ke tsone di go tsentse re di bua re le Botswana Congress Party we are rena re dumela gore nako e go re ila gore o lebelle sešwa.
Wonderful. Yes. So you are definitely saying you do find that it's a priority even in this midst of the economy. Now, considering, let's say you are the ruling party, what would you focus on as your primary key elements? 1, 2, 3. Hanne ke na le bokgoni nka e focus like a bona gore mme gone constitution ya rona ena le bothata hale. What are those for you?
Gore go re le ko me ga re le Botswana Congress Party re dumela gore re tshwanetse re ka batho ka molao motheo wana ya ka re ntse re simolola re bua gore kante gone go tewa eng ke thuto e botlhokwa re nne le thulaganyo e tseleletseng ya gore mongwe le mongwe a tsene mo leseding la gore ga re a re kwale sešwa when we review what is it but what are the key things to look at? I think we ke buile ya ka bo yo ditshwanelo tsa itsholelo the second generation human rights.
Yes.
No na le tse dingwe tse di tlhokagalang le tse e leng gore gape re le opposition party le ruling party ya gompieno e dumelana le rona sekgwa se se reng separation of powers o kgaoganye baatlhodi ba nne ba le nosi o kgaoganye matona executive ba nne ba le nosi o kgaoganye palamente se ke o pe a kgopetsa o mongwe ke gore ka mahoko a mangwe seemo se re teng mo go sone gompieno tseo dio tse dingwe re emela go utlwa ka matona re le mapalamente gore go a buiriwa eng le go hira ko parlamenteng lo go kopa pele ko office of the president. These are two arms of government tshwanetse gore di kgaogangwe gore re nne le democracy e maemo a ga godimo. Se sengwe ke tekatekano moramote o re nang le one ba le bantsi go na le merae e kwadilweng mo teng gore ga go te Botswana go tewa merae e latelang yes go mo go tse batho ba le bantsi sentle ba e leng gore ga ba yo mo molao motheo. So that has to be looked into gore e re rotlhe re le ba constitutional re ipone mo teng a bona se sengwe ke tshwanelo ya gore tota tsamaiso ya sepolotiki ya ditlhopho re tle ka thulaganyo ya ditlhopho e leng gore e ka ro lebelela parlamente ba kgona go bona borre le bomme re na le constitution e leng gore it gives us a male dominated leadership ga e lemoge gore bomme le bone ba na le bokgoni yes ba na le bokgoni jo bo lekanang le jo borre ma tsa mangwe ya tse melao metheo ya bone gore ba kgone go nna le thulaganyo ya mohuta oneo. So ke dio tse re dumalanang le tsone ya ke bua main opposition and the ruling party ngwa tse re dumalanang le tsone tse kwalegileng mo di-constitution tse mo di manifestong tsotlhe ka bobedi manifesto wa UDC manifesto wa BCP ke gore ba tla go gopotsa dithata tsa ga tautona
yes
ba go gopotsa dithata tsa ga tautona re se ka ra nna le tautono e leng gore o ka tsoga hela ba hetola dio dingwe a sa rerisa a re tautono tsa tshwetso ya gore nna ke sa tlhole ke bata tsamaiso ya gore Motswana mongwe le mongwe ka iteka ka ditendara yaanong ke tsenye tamiso e ntšha e leng gore ke ka supa ka monwana re kwadile mo maitamong a rona Botswana Congress Party umbrella for democratic change gore re batla go hetola go moo tautona go koletswe dithata tsa nang le tsone tse dingwe di siwe le ko parlamenteng
gape me gongwe ra be re tsenya dipresidente tsa rona mo diphatseng
thata. The other thing important se se teng ke wa tse re se bitsang re your oversight institutions bo DCC ba ba lwantshang tshegetso setšhaba a ba ntshiwe ka ga tlase ga o sia ga tautona ba se ka ba kgopakgopediwa ba ikemele ka nosi ba kgone go tsaya ditshwetso ba sa tshoge gore a ka moso ke tebekete wa go twe re go ntsha mo DCC ya nngwe ya go sedi.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. And I remember when you spoke about this, I actually was reading an article, which is by Malila and Sibudubudu, and they were mentioning that. And for those who may be interested to check it out, you can check the Constitution, section 47 all the way to section 56, which speaks to the liberties of the president in terms of decision-making from candidates and the likes. Now, there are a few questions, or somebody had an interest or rather, there is an interesting engagement on Twitter, and somebody was saying that they feel that one of the constitutional reviews to be considered, one of the topics to be considered is that they would propose that citizen and work visa applications be assessed based on country of origin and reciprocity.
I'm not sure if it's a constitutional matter, and I think we could deal with it when we educate each other about the Constitution.
Yes.
Because it's a malana tatali melao ye Home Affairs, labor and Home Affairs. Re dira jang gore re thape batho ba bangwe ba tle. Now I'm a strong believer ya gore you must open your borders. Open your borders and lo dire gore batho ba nang le dikiso tse di rileng ba kgone go tsena mo tlhogong. When you do that, then you can also talk to those countries. I mean, look at it this way. I represent a constituency in the components in tourism.
Yes.
You take wilderness, for example. They operate in many other countries across Africa. I want Botswana children who work in the tourism sector to be able to go and work in those other countries. Bring international experience. And at the same time, it means if Botswana are going to work outside, we must also be able to allow others from outside Botswana to come and work here. And I think it will make our country a better country. A lot of countries are inward looking. I think because of the Trump administration. He's very strict on these issues. who comes in, who doesn't come in.
Yes.
But America got to where it is because it attracted a lot of talent from outside.
True.
I would be the last to try and stop other experts to come from outside. After all, I always tell people this. Recently, when I had an emergency operation to my brain, it took a doctor from Cuba to save my life.
Wow.
Yes. And I would like Botswana doctors who are also outside, working outside Botswana. In places like the UK, there are Botswana doctors there. In places like Canada, I was saved by a doctor from Botswana.
Yes.
We build a better world if we do that.
Similar differentiate. See, like you were
Yes.
saying, we need to be confident in our people.
Yes.
And so, yes. So we spoke about opposing bills,
Yes.
accepting bills, passing bills. Now, how successful have you been in the past in terms of, being listened to or being heard? Yes.
Well, it's a mixed bag. Now, it works, now it doesn't work. Because it involves a lot of lobbying. It's not oppose. Remember, we change to amend. The labor law, the leading MP of the Congress Party, who's our shadow minister for labor, was able to push through a number of amendments. So it's not only about opposing, it's also about improving. What the other side barriers. Even when we are not successful as an opposition party, we have a duty to raise these issues. It's an opportunity to teach Botswana. I've had a lot of Botswana come to me and say, oh, I didn't know what freedom of information. Remember, I was rejected. But Botswana outside were able to say, actually, we need a freedom of information law. Up until so the opposition has a duty to also educate.
You bring up a very interesting one, especially when you speak of information. I recall from an article that I was reading that if you wanted to find information, carbon dating, you had to rent out the information from outside. And mind you, they came here, they left with the information that they took from here, and now they're selling it back to us as if it isn't ours.
It's a tragedy.
It is a tragedy.
It should not be.
It should not be,
Yes,
indeed.
yes.
Now, I want you to describe to me, we've already established that, yes, we've established a few of the items that you would want prioritized in the Constitution.
Yes.
How would you execute this constitutional review in your capacity as BCP?
There are many examples to learn from. Review our constitution. Even in the SADC area, I think we have a case like Zambia that went through a review. We have other countries like Kenya. So there are templates from which we can learn, experiences. I was particularly impressed by H1 and Kenya. Because what they did, constitution so that there are no gray areas. Or they shall be step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And then, if you are unhappy, there shall be a body to which you can complain. And that body will listen to you, listen to government, and make a decision. What's that really? Not a court where you hire a lawyer. So, I want a very transparent process where we all know. It was as an example. They were clear in the last consultative process. No one knows that constitution ya puso o ya parlamente o ya minister. It's a constitution ya Botswana. So I would open it up, and I know people are saying, the last one. But there's always a cheaper way of doing it. We can still take what people had submitted to see what is there. More we can hold the committee. The committee of parliament. Parliament bipartisan. Bipartisan they are looking. When you go to the Hats of Reza, I got the one I redo my dear Carol, says really more public payroll.
Yes.
And we come back and say, immediately report is already so it need not be an expensive thing. You can have a toll-free number where everyone calls. You can have a WhatsApp line where you drop your suggestions, your emails. So there are many other ways in which you can do it without having a big delegation using 20, 30 cars to traverse the country sleeping in hotels.
Yes.
There are certainly cheaper ways of doing it.
All right, thank you about that. Now, if you are watching at home and you want to join in the conversation, please feel free to drop in a question either on our Facebook page, we're also on Twitter, we're live on X Space. So yes, do go ahead and just, engage with us. We love, and the space is made for you. We wouldn't be here without you. So let me be a little selfish a bit.
Yes.
So, Kimonan.
Yes.
The 2K, the typical 2Ks.
Yes.
Constitution. And what is it that as a 2K, somebody who probably is thinking, I have time, I'll learn this when I get there. What is it that, what core aspects of the Constitution cater to banana and are important for banana?
Well, firstly, the Constitution must not only speak to the current realities. It must speak in what others have said, also for generations yet unborn. So it's a constitution where, as a young person, the right to quality education. I think banana must be concerned about that. Too many young people are getting education that is of low quality. I can go primary, I can go secondary, and in some tertiary institutions, I must say, they need protection. I think
yes.
So young people must be concerned about this. Okay. We want a constitution that also gives you the right to work, and not only work but get decent work. Unemployment is too high. We export jobs. When go get one thing, go maung, nine work Macau. How's our couple really we second it's a process is going into factories where people are going to work. If in our constitution we had the right to work, we would raise this issue to say, is our right to work not being violated by government?
Yes.
Unlike other countries, we have not the right to health. South Africa have the right to health. What happened? They went to court.
Yes.
We will not be doing certain procedures. Health is not a right. But for a young person who may have a condition that requires the sort of interventions that are not available at the moment, they must be concerned. I want a constitution that will also recognize my right to health.
All right. So we have one of our viewers here who wants to engage with us. Her name is Khorata Matla. Yes. I'm just going to open up for her so that we give her the space to engage. Hello. Hi, Khorata. Okay. Khorata? Are you with us? No, I guess she's not with us.
Okay.
I guess she's not with us. And now, simply because we were talking about how there was a bill, it was tabled in the parliament, and you were very much saying that you're against it. You're against it, that you absolutely are not standing with it. king selling horeng o khatlhanong le sone
Yes.
o ma beef le sone matsapa di a tsa kae o sa re e what's going on there
Look, like I said, ha UDC I dumelana teng le rona. Ho na le convergence, we should be supporting each other. Rotle re le re batla constitutional review. But ba tsang gore ra iphetla bogolong ba emanokeng ba UDC. Ke kopa re go bala your own manifesto. At page 13, I actually read it. At page 13, yare ga re sena go tlhophiwa, we will start a process to review the constitution. Ebile ba re rotlhe, meaning even with me. So they've made a pledge to every one of us for we will review the constitution. And then they said in reviewing the constitution, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And amongst those, on the constitutional court. Yeah, on this amendment, constitutional review. We are picking one part, which is constitutional, not at the constitutional court. Sorry, not constitutional, in the constitutional court. Kana go ra hane ile nna kere ke le Dumelang ke le president ke ile tsoletse tsona le ya UDC go ne ke tla le le ke o itse re ke kana ga ke mo molao motheong ka gore ke ngwana mo ye ne ke go amend the constitution ke re so se le sengwe hela ke re ya no ke tsenya le ba ye mo constitution mme ke rile constitutional review. So this is a total disregard for a promise that was made. They are derailing from the promise. Se re se buanya re le mo go ganeng ga rome ke gore re kopa gore lo se kala le bala maikano ga lo ikana lo rile na steps number 1 obile ko le ga se gore objective under that section. The main objective ke go kwala molao motheo sesha abo nankola dintlha ya no ga re dumalane le piecemeal amendment ka ka mosoka nna ga okay ya re amenda mo gongwe go le gongwe hela re tsenya separation of powers for parliament e kemele ka nosi ha ira yalo it's costly.
Okay.
Ntla di khosi ya ikopanela it's at a cost. Parliament sits down to discuss it at a cost. Ha e tsa go parliament it goes to a referendum. Go bulwa mahelo o tla ne go tlhapelwa go gone di polling station go bewa ditante batho ba theogela o tswa potso e lengwe hela. Why can't we go to this stage? Can you imagine an exam? You one every year. What gravity telling? We need to get through with this thing.
Okay, true. All right. So I wanted to establish hore ke now ke magba sa di study ke kola peng e bile ga ka itumela ka billionaire or I share the same sentiments as you or maybe I share the same sentiments as anybody else who happens to be part of the parliament. What can I do or what capacity do I have to influence or what in my capacity can I do to either influence or stop the bill from passing or from supporting somehow? What exactly can I do? And then while you're at it, I would like for you to touch on timelines. And an urgent request of sort. What are there? What options are there for Motswana at home?
Okay. There are a few options open to Botswana. And I think go botlhokwa gore Botswana ba simolola go nna le active participation mo diong tsa merero ya puso ya bone. Ba ka ya go diphuthegong tsa dikgotla tse di bidiwang ke maparlamente a bone ba ka kgona go bua mo parlamento a go gore I have strong views about this. Ke ne ke o no ntsholegeditse gore tla dira a comprehensive review. Please don't vote for this one clause amendment.
Yes.
Number 2, o ka kwala mo parlamento a gago. Kana go mo le gone go a letelela. Go kwala mo parlamento a gago and say to mo parlamento a gago, so kopo ya me ke. Number 3, engwe batho ba ka dirang ke go ipopa. Go ipopa go ngweno le as le halo le batho ba go tshwenyega ka even friends can do that. And write to your MP as a group. Lira mo go ting boikuelo. A petition. Re morare re mo kgaolong ya gago re go tlhophile re kopa gore o ise boikuelo jo jwa rona ko parlamenteng. o tla ba ka ya go motsamaisa dipusetso tsa palamente gore ke na le boikuelo jo go tswang go kgaolong ya me ba ba bo kwadileng ba khupile gore bo balwe be re bolelelwa gore go na le setlhopha se tswa go kgaolong ya gore se ipitsa jaana ba re matshwenyego a bone ka bokhutshwane ke ya. That is allowed.
Yes, thank you so much. And you are bringing up a very important point because Banana, University of Botswana students and other universities, of course, involved, they had proposed, they had a petition.
Yes.
And Holebara petition, yes, I hear the attention that it needed. And so consequently, what they were looking for, what they were looking to achieve, didn't materialize. How then can you advise Bone Banana, gore me gone ha le re le strike la ma 2.5
well, the options they have. I agree, firstly, is to push that permit to Yaho March. Kana this government really care human rights. A human rights centered government. It's a form of freedom of expression. It is the first generation right. It's a recognized to so baka kopa tshwetso te seletso ya go match. Ga ba sa letelelwe. Baka kwalela mo parlamento a bone. University of Botswana e mo Gaborone Central. Ba kwalele mo parlamento a bone firstly to say dirisa stilo sa go parlamenteng gore ba thusa go batla te seletso ya go match. Ha ile gore ga ba batle ba ka mo kwalela le ene gore jaanong okay petition ya rona ke ene re go Minister of Education. Ya no re laela wena o le mo parlamento a rona. Ba go ibara ko parlamente. Ha ba tsholola ha gona se se ba kganela gore ba go any other MP yo ka ba retsa gore le bana ba Gaborone Central ba University ya Botswana ne re na le kganye le ba tle go itse ka mo parlamento a rona ga re amogela re kopa wena o etse. That is also allowed.
Okay. Yeah, no, and I know that you have already stated that what is it that you want? Do you want it withdrawn? Do you want it amended? Do you want it? What exactly are we looking for right there?
I want it withdrawn. I want it withdrawn because it's delaying the whole constitution. One clause. And then look, for the benefit of the listener, I must also explain gore babaring ari direhela bare le bakala boneki. Bare kana gare hetsa yone review ya constitution e tshwanetse gore ye go lebelelwa ke constitutional court. That is not true. That is not true. Because leka 2024 renally review ya constitution. Had that bill passed parliament, ya go kwala molao motheo sesha ka dintlha ka ditshetla tse disha e ka bontsi nile molao motheo ha ile gore bangwe ba batla gore a o hete ka makgotla tshekelo the high court ya lehatshe la Botswana e na le dithata tsotlhe tse le gore ba re di batla gore ba di go bona ko constitutional court. As we speak today, those rights and powers di teng ko high court. So go iphitlwa ka Motswana tla re go iphitlha ka diphuka. That there is no need to be doing this, and that is why we are saying just withdraw it. Constitutional court, it's not part of the constitutional review.
Yes. Okay. So if we go onto our social media space, we have someone who is trying to connect with us. I'm just going to briefly let them in.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello? Good day. Okay, I think they then retrieved. Okay, so aside from that, we also have some comments that are going on also on X. Somebody is saying that Maelo are direct election of President Rai Ibadla.
Yes.
And then another one, Ruben Otlogetswe, are buale party e busang, ele se go tshaba go opposiwa. Ga go phoso go ba ganetsa bone jaanong ba etsa ka mahatla, they fear competition. And then Comrade Mono, what is your take on the death penalty? And then the last one is that when does the opposition determine it's prudent to raise a motion of no confidence when there are signs that governance are deteriorating on a general large scale? And isn't their intervention enough? So let's begin with the first one, which is from Comrade Mono Ari. What is your take on the death penalty?
I guess that is the president's special advisor, so I have to answer it as well as I can. Mm-hmm. You know, this is the question that is for Botswana. Currently, Constitution ya rona ya re o na le the right to life, I get. Yes. Me your right to life, ya ga ne ke bua Constitution ba di boundary ba melolwane. Your right to life maha o tsela yo mongwe botshelo. Gore ha o tsela yo mongwe botshelo, that's where your right to life ends. Kana o bonwa molato go tsela yo mongwe botshelo. So the debate will go back to Botswana. Ga ya tshwana go nna gore go tsena position ya ga leader of opposition kana position ya ga president. Gore ene o batla gore le ga o bolaile o seka wa bolwa. Are go Botswana ba ye go tsaya ditshwetso. And that is where the constitutional review comes in.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then the second question was from Kuksi Ari. When does the opposition determine it prudent to raise a motion of no confidence?
Anytime, really. I mean, remember in the past, I think 2018, holy April. Within April, May, June, July, Reboko within 3-4 months, on a motion of no confidence. It didn't succeed, but on our saying. So why utisana kongwelengwe e obanang go siame gore o ka utisa. That is the answer. It's really the any party's call, like another main opposition or any other opposition party.
Now, the second aspect of the question was that when there are signs of no governance deteriorating, on a general, basically he was just saying, like you're saying, it's at any time. Past the emotional confidence is what your feedback is, that it can happen at any time.
It can happen at any time. But I think what I want to say to Botswana also is this. When you are warned before you cast your vote, gore yo mongwe yo ga o motlhopha o itse gore ga se wa good governance. I guess that case was made before elections. O skwa mo tsenya gore o tla tlantshiwa ka no confidence, because no confidence motion alone, it's not easy. Under our current constitution, yari, if the motion passes, go mo go tautona gore a tsamaye within a given period. Tautona ne le gore parliament e ka nna ya re no confidence. Constitution e boya mo ha dithata gore o ka lo phatlalatsa. Lotlhe a dissolve parliament gore boela magaeng a ba sala busa a batla ba di tentsha ya ditlhopho. So it's a double-edged sword. The best insurance against bad governance is a very informed vote. Ha go te tlhopha o se kwa tlhopha ka mahatla o tlhophe o itse gore I have really applied my mind and I'm sure I can trust this particular government. Ga ke sweiwe ke motsotso wa bohelo ya la go twe ke mofokodi mme re na le 10 years re itse gore o kgakala le bofokodi.
Okay, so I want us to also let me also request anybody on Twitter who's trying to join us but they're failing, perhaps you can even just send in a comment so that I'm able to also read out your questions, seeing that we do have some technical issues here. Now, hona lo mongwe o reng are me wena ke mo o sa bate gore go setiwe constitutional courts kana democracy tse dinnye jaaka South Africa di na le yone.
You know what? Fine. Tse dingwe di na le yone. Na se ke se kopang ke tse dingwe di na le dio tse dingwe tse re senang natso. Akere. We can't say hela gore ka gore le hatse le lengwe le na le sengwe se re senang natso a re sona se le sengwe hela. My point is, let's look at the Constitution holistically. Ba bangwe ba tla gore ba re kana ko South Africa, which is what the others were doing in the past. Ko South Africa, mo provinceng kana mo districting ya ka kwano, ke mo ka gona le ramapodisi. So gore a re go amenda constitution ya rona re tsenye hela gore re tana le ramapodisi wa kgalagadi ramapodisi wa kweneng eng. Those are nice to have, but that is the point. Because will cost us millions. Re ra gore mo nakong ya gompieno ke eng re sa ise madi a ne re batla go ira referendum ya kganyele one re sa ise ko melemo, so that people can at least get medication. Our grandparents should be able to get medication for hypertension. My dad, my father would want to be able to be secure in his morning DPDs. Go na le gore ya go fola line a ye go bua hela ka constitutional court.
So there's a question here which I would absolutely prefer if you don't dwell so much on it, because we're here to talk about the Constitution. And so they were saying that, what's your take on the UDC-led government? Do you see bad governance? And this is by @Chestapule on Twitter.
I'll be very brief on this. The UDC has clearly deviated. It located ise soleheditse batho. Ga ba respect manifesto wa bone. Manifesto is a social contract. It's a social contract. O tshwanetse o dire so se soleheditseng. Ga o sa se dire, if it were in commercial terms, like this is political. If it were commercial, in other countries we call it deceptive advertising. If I sell you a product, ke go raya kere ye ke jiki. Ga o tshwaragalwa ke wine e sutla within 2 minutes. Ke be ke e reka e be le gore ya nako le go a tlhalosiwa nya kana ke gore ke itlhetse wine ya go ile bogalenyana nya kana hempene le makgwakgwa ke gore di-excuse di nna dintsi wa seka. Yaanong ko politiking ka gore ga go sekiwe ma politiki take advantage. So the biggest issue I have with the UDC government, its inability to stick to its promises. Bo ba e ba gore ba itlhetse seemo se harologane go na le ka ba ne ba kantse. We all knew the state of the economy. Ga ka kera re ka go ritletse ditamane di sa rekiwe. Ditamane di emisitswe go rekiwa ka 2022. And we knew in 2023. We knew in 2024. So all we are asking them to do is be truthful to the voter.
Wonderful. Yes. Seeing that as well, almost time is catching up with us.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask you that this one is a bit more personal.
Yes.
And I hope that it can be a bit less. If we don't manage to cover it all, it's still okay. But I wanted to understand that, a lot of things, we see a lot of things when it comes to politicians and all of that. What in your capacity makes you so different from a lot of these politicians? I'm very much a believer in, self-efficacy, believing in yourself, seeing this and what it is that is so different about you that you feel, as a leader, you continue to constantly, you still stick to that. What is it? What gives you so much confidence and, the ability to say, you know what, I'll still fight for this Mozona. Why? Why do you do it?
I remember at Form 3, we had a new teacher. As a core, require composition title like myself. And I'll flank this one because it's always the most difficult thing for me to talk about myself. But briefly speaking, like I said, I'm very passionate about what I want to do. I don't chance. Very intentional about it. Before get mo politicking, even from secondary school, I used to join campaigns. Apartheid South Africa. I used to march injustice in one part of the country. And for me, I feel very, very strongly about building a Botswana better than that which my parents achieved. I want to see my children looking forward to leading this country as well, to say their parents' generation, meaning my generation, played their part. Nakituste politique. Others are doing a hell of a good job, bankana bami. In the corporate side, now I have chosen politics. And I want to give it my best. Even when I lose elections, I don't take it where I have been rejected. I just take it that I did not communicate clearly enough. I will come back to do a better job. And that is what keeps me going forward every day.
Wonderful. So then I guess endurance is one of the characteristics that you'd probably give yourself if you were to write on that very composition.
Oh, yes, certainly. And that's why one of the songs I like is the song that has the words, I just can't give up now. He didn't bring me this far to leave me behind. Yes. So
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, as your last comment on just the status quo of what is going on right now, what are your last words and your basically to just sum it up, what is it that you want Monana or Motswana out there, even a Motswana in the diaspora who's probably seen that country go through so much, and you know they feel for it. What is it that you want to say to them?
Okay, let me premise my final comment on one of the comments that was made. Ya gore king baba mo pusong ba sa rate go ganediwa. It's because baba mo pusong ba na le a wrong understanding your opposition. Ya gore opposing is interfering. Gore ba korelediwa re le seribus. Ga re ba koreletse. A democracy works with two sides, a ruling and an opposition. And the duty of an opposition, which is where I am with the BCP, is to be effective, to keep to provide oversight. And to give alternatives. That is why BCP itilekabo concept yabo shadow minister. I mean, people heard the BCP shadow minister on health and the BCP labor shadow labor minister came out, and we'll be doing this very regularly. Shadow ministers, we should be able to show Botswana, even if it doesn't work out, there is an alternative called the Botswana Congress Party.
Okay. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much with having given your time and also inviting me into this lovely space of yours. I've had, it was very informative. I liked a lot of how we spoke about Botswana. I'm not affiliated to any party, but it's very interesting to see the minds who are there as politicians. So this is us having wrapped up in the conversation. Thank you so much for everybody who has been tuned in, and thank you so much for also participating. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and you are very well informed for a young person.
Really?
Well done.
Thank you.